Hiya, come on in and get cozy. I hope everyone's staying blessed and protected. I hope everyone has had a wonderful weekend, because I have. I'm a bit tired today. I think it's because yesterday my daughter cooked for me. Oh my word, it was amazing, and I felt like really greedy because the amount that I ate, I couldn't move. But it was absolutely, honestly, it was top level, beautiful. She's like a gourmet chef. It must be built into her because I come from a family of chefs, with cooks. But yeah, I found this card on the floor, and it's the twins, and it says self-protection and dual natures. And I feel like this is someone, and I also seen the temperance angel, and I feel like it's someone having, maybe having to protect themselves. And I get a feeling when I'm seeing the twins, I'm feeling like some people who are quite alike. This card, it says, it relates to a specific relationship in your life. You and the other person are bound together, but past traumas are blocking your ability to make this a harmonious relationship. Now, that could be with anyone. It could be with a spouse, a child, sibling, or anything like that. But it says, be kind and take time to reassess your behaviour. Are you really being fair to the other person, or are you continuing old habits or resentments? There is kindness in it, in acknowledging we're all human. So I feel like this is for someone who's in a relationship with somebody else, whichever it is. You know what I mean? It could even be a boss, whatever it is. But I feel with a temperance as well, a temperance is to bring balance. Sometimes you can hold grudges against people, and it could be family, could be friends, could be a lover, could be a boss. But this is like, I feel like someone remembering and holding on to something that someone did, and it's stopping you progressing. It's kind of like, needing a need to forgive things, and move on to bring harmony. And with the dual natures, it gives me like, because duality is like yin and yang. One could be yin and one could be yang. Sometimes that is a good thing. That's like it matches. Um, it just depends. Some people can be too yang. And like if you're in a really strong yang energy, it's quite bossy, quite I'm in charge kind of thing. And excuse me, sometimes I find myself doing that because I have been. Sometimes I've had to be yang. Especially when you're a single parent. You find you're playing both roles. If the other partner's not there. Last night I was having some mad dreams. It was specifically about this one guy. It's a young lad, and he's got a baby, but he can't look after this baby. He doesn't want this responsibility. He was kind of a nutter, like probably through trauma, really. You know what I mean? But his head was not right, and he was like, he wouldn't leave this person alone, like constantly, like hounding, this person. And I think this person, this other woman, this girl, whatever, gave him the baby, but he couldn't look after the baby, so the baby got took off him, but he still wouldn't leave the girl alone. This is the dream, and it was just so weird. So I don't know if this is something regarding this. It could be regarding this kind of a relationship, because it seemed so specific. He was quite reckless. I don't know if he was taking things, substances, but it was quite a reckless energy, and this baby needed protecting. Like he left this baby in dangerous situations. So I don't know if that's what I'm picking up today. I brought the Mystic Monday deck out because it's Monday, Moon Day, and we got a full moon coming up on the 10th. So I will be doing a full moon reading. I was undecided what kind of reading to do, but when I seen this card, I thought the Spirit's already decided for us. This is the energy, what's in the energy. and I feel like it could be something to do with this kind of relationship. I don't think I've got a lot of young viewers, but this could be somebody's child who's, it could resonate in that way. Yeah, I'm going to do Egyptian reading tomorrow. Like, I'm going to do some updates soon. I'm going to do an update on Jay before his inquest. I want to do an update on Jack and Lily, because obviously they're still not being found and there's so many rumours going around, There's quite a few updates that I do want to do, just to see if anything's changed. I always, when I seen the twins, it made me think about them twin women who disappeared, because you never heard no else again, did you? It just got swept under the carpet. Yeah, that was weird. Anyway, there's just so many people missing. You know what I mean? There's so many unanswered questions. That just flipped out my hand, and I seen the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is a lot about self-love, filling your cup. Pouring into your cup. Sometimes we can pour so much into other people's cups that our cups end up empty. But I don't feel like that. This is here. This is that. I'll just get into it anyway. Dear Heavenly Spirit of the Most High, Heavenly Angels, Archangels, Spirit Guides, Ancestors of our highest good, we call upon you, Heavenly Spirit, to protect our chakras from the root to the crown. We call upon you, Heavenly Spirit, to protect our energy as I channel this message. And we call upon you, Heavenly Spirit, to block out all and any negative or evil interference. And we call upon you, Heavenly Spirit, to show the collective exactly what they need to see right now. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like watering in your own garden. Taking care of yourself. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Some people can be, so much into other people's lives. It's like that lad in the dream. He just was not concentrating on himself at all. He was very clingy to this other person. Like, he just wouldn't leave her alone. And it got to the point where she actually gave him the baby, but he couldn't look after the baby. We've got a death card here. This is something that's over. This is an ending. It's always bringing out a new beginning. Something's ended, or something has to end. Probably that behaviour, because it was absolutely, honestly, it was so difficult. It was really difficult. 8 of Wands. This could be something happening quickly. Something news coming in. Something, soon, happening soon. Something coming in. 8 of Wands is something. It's a lot of fire energy. Temperance angel, Sagittarius energy. Take it as it resonates. We've got the Chariot here. Things moving forward. I feel like things only can move forward when we resolve things. Things get resolved. Otherwise, you will stay stuck. If you're holding a resentment for someone else or whatever, it could be this kid, because it was a kid. It wasn't actually an adult. It was a young lad, and he had a baby to this girl. They were just young, but it was not right. It was very traumatized. Oh, 10 of Wands in reverse. That's how we want to see it. And we've got the Fool here, and I can see the King of Cups peeping out. But the 10 of Wands is releasing the burdens. Something that needs to be released here. A 10 is always like an ending of something, because the Fool is like, yeah, and it's taking this leap of faith here, releasing these burdens. Something could just be too much. You might, if it's your child that's in this situation, you might feel like you're so involved in something, but I feel like having to release a burden. I've just seen 8 of Cups, leaving something, walking away from something. Sometimes you just got to let things sort themselves out. But I don't know, with the baby involved, it's a bit more difficult, isn't it? Because you obviously want to care about the baby. Oh, a King of Wands, a 9 of Swords, and a 5 of Swords. Look at this, High Priestess here. And I'm seeing the Death with the 9 of Cups and the 9 of Wands. The King of Wands gives me a lot of fire energy. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The King of Wands is but seeing the Nine of Swords, it's causing anxiety. And Nine of Swords is an anxiety. But this looks like somebody, you know, like under attack. It could be this King of Wands. And with the Five of Swords here, it's just like it's landed where this Twins is. I feel like it is, you know, Five of Swords is, you know, that kind of not a good, it's not a good energy to be in. And if I feel like if it's a King of Wands, this Five of Swords, it says, what's the point in winning? Is self-interest, conquest and survival mode. It says, what's the point in winning when you have no one to share your success with? Even though you may have won the argument, you are in danger of losing your relationship and reputation. Fully loaded in survival mode, you'll do whatever it takes to smoke out the competition. You're in a constant state of conquest and striving no matter what the cost. This need to be right is inflating your ego, driven by a fear of losing control. Your ambition is to be admired, but also drives people away with fear that you will eventually throw them under the bus. Achievements are met with resentment instead of the acknowledgement that you secretly desire. Ask yourself if you feel fulfilled by your wins and at what cost. Lose the battle, win the war. And I feel this could be this King of Wands here. You know, I mean, the Nine of Swords, this could be their energy. You know, in that energy, like wanting to win at all costs. You know, it's that this is always anxiety, you know, a living nightmare. I feel like this person could be a living nightmare because he was. No, that guy, the boy, because he was just a boy, he was not, you know, he was young, like, you know, a teenager. He was a living nightmare. That's what it was. It was actually a living nightmare. And I feel like this is releasing burdens, you know, and it could be that this kid is a burden and he has to be released, you know, because that's what was going on in my dream as well, trying to get rid of him. It was literally, he had to get out, get away, you know, and I feel like this King of Wands energy, this is like somebody very fiery energy, very determined, you know, always up to something. Yeah, always up to something. And I feel like this, with the High Priestess coming out, you know, it's like using your intuition as well. It's like this kid has not got an argument with anyone else but themselves, really. You know, this is what I'm feeling. And I feel like releasing it. This could be somebody's child as well. It could be yours. Sometimes you can feel guilty, you know, but sometimes you have to, you know, let people do their own thing. Six of Cups. You know, this gives me a past energy. This is someone who've had to deal with, you know, since probably childhood. This person, they've got Five of Pentacles. It's leaving this person out in the cold, letting them be independent with the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, you know, if that is your child and you feel guilty because it's your child, you know, I've had to get my kids out before. Well, not kids, but you know, they have actually, you know, especially my second daughter, she's pushed it that much that, you know, in the past, like literally thinking that they're the boss of the house. I went through it. I mean, she's all right now. Settle down now. But yeah, they do calm down when they get older, especially when they have kids as well. But yeah, I feel like this could have been going on for a long time. You know, you might have had to put up with their crap for so long. We're seeing the King of Swords and a Princess of Swords. You know, it could be male or female, so you've got to take it as it resonates. A Knight of Pentacles is very, very solid, very grounded energy. You know, and it's a very sure energy, you know. And this King of Swords here, it's like, you know, it could even be involvement with the law. I don't know if the law was involved in my dream. I don't know, there wasn't. But it was trying to deal with this person because it was so difficult, so persistent, and such literally a living nightmare. Mimi, I know what your game is. You're trying to come and get behind Nana. Yeah, this person was actually so stressful. But I feel like they've got the issue they have is not with anybody else but themselves. You know, and we've got the Queen of Swords as well, the King and Queen of Swords here. I mean, these could be the parents' energy. It's like standing up. It could mean the law as well. But I'm seeing the King and Queen of Swords is very like logical, truthful. You know, justice, law could be all them. A bit of self-protection here. I feel like, yeah, someone has to protect themselves. Because this lad, oh look, we've got a King of Cups, Queen of Cups, and the Empress. This is some, I feel like this could be someone's parents to this child. I'm getting a motherly energy, so this could be, like a mother's reading, and this is about their child. And I'm saying child, and not mean that young. I feel like a teenager who has a baby to somebody else, but he is a living nightmare. Or this could be your daughter who has a boyfriend who's incapable of looking after himself, never mind a child. Heavenly Spirit, Heavenly Angels. Oh yeah, there's a tower moment. There's a tower. Oh, God, it wanted to fly out. And it came out in reverse. It flew out in reverse. So I feel like, like Spirit flipped that. This is like maybe avoiding a tower, doing something, before this occurs. Yeah, whoever this kid is like, it's hard work. Very persistent. Like, just wouldn't give up. Constantly. Hounding. Like, wherever it is, keeps coming back. But this is avoiding a disaster, so I feel like releasing these burdens, getting this person out of the way, is actually avoiding a disaster, getting out of harm's way just in time. And I feel like it's with this teenager, this lad, whoever he is. I feel like if you let him hang around any longer, that something will, would, because it's been going on. They could be like childhood, being together since younger, because they're still young. To me, they're still in the teenage years, young teenagers with a baby, and he's too incapable. But obviously, the girl is capable. She's very, like, I've seen in my dream. She's very caring, really caring about babies, even other people's kids. Take that as it resonates. But that's what I've seen. Got the Ace of Pentacles here. Justice. And this is whatever this person is Seven of Swords, so there's going to be justice here. But whatever, this person could have been doing stuff, sneaker behind your back. This kid, because it's like if you're having to deal with somebody like that, like for instance, if it was my daughter and she had a kid to this lad, and he's very like volatile, like in my dream, he was so he was just that living nightmare. Like, he just would not leave this girl alone, constantly at her, all the time. And if that was my daughter, like, I would want to intervene as well. But I feel like this person could have been a burden. You might have even let this lad live with it in your house. It could even be your own child. Take it as it resonates. But this is where you cannot feel guilty if they're doing too much, and you have to let them go. Sometimes that's the only thing you can do. You can't fix everything and everyone. Justice itself will do it, because this person's acting out of the low vibration. The devil cards here. I have to ring my bell. Yeah, this person, this kid, is unhealed. They could even have an addiction. Take that as it resonates. And they're doing it behind your back, and some of it's sneaky. And you won't want somebody like that around your baby. You know, I feel like it's having the Ace of Pentacles wanted to come out. And we've got the Star. You know, I'm feeling like, you know, a gift of healing here. You might have a gift of healing. You might think you can fix this person, but this person has to fix themselves. Yeah, the Sun's here as well, the Star and the Sun. Maybe you're shining a light on this healing, but you have to walk away with the Eight of Cups. This person does need healing. We've got the Five of Cups. This person might regret it. Might have even done an attack in the past. You know, it could have, if they've actually hurt, you know, hurt someone, hurt the partner. Yeah, this is has to end. There has to be an ending. I've just seen the Magician, so it's like you're manifesting this. It's like you don't want this person to be with your daughter, or if it's your son, you don't want this to carry on the way they are. You know, you could be. We've got the Temperance Angel with the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of. Look at this, Wheel of Fortune, King of Cups. I feel like this person is you know, destined to be in a King of Cups energy. I feel like they've got some lessons to learn first, though. You know, a Temperance Angel, I feel like it's blocking this person has to be blocked out. It's like this person is they do need healing. And it's like you shining the light. I feel like we're seeing the Star and the Sun. You shining the light on that fact that this person is unhealed. Seeing the Devil card as well, you know, they need to sort themselves out, but I feel like they will eventually. They're going to be all right. You know, this is confirmation. I feel like confirmation that this person needs blocking out. You know, that you need to be protected here. Things after you're protected. This is all encased in this box. You have to protect yourself and protect your loved ones as well. Yeah, but I feel like it is destined to be in a King of Cups energy. And it's like you have to walk away from something here. Something else, you have to, maybe this person, you know. But you couldn't get rid of him in my dream. You couldn't get rid of him. Yeah, this is destiny. We've got justice here. Destiny under justice. And I feel like, yeah, the King of Cups, you know. King of Cups always gives me like a fatherly energy, granddaddy energy, you know. Like, a King of Cups is a very, you know, emotionally well balanced. It could be your energy. You know, you might be a single parent and you're having to draw on that. You're having to be. But I feel like but holding this grudge against this, I feel like this kid might have done something in the past. And there's like, you need to let it go. You know, whatever it is, this kid is seriously unhealed. They've obviously got trauma in their life. They could even have an addiction. Take that as it resonates. Yeah, this was a relationship and it's over. This relationship is done. The Two of Cups with the Death card. Oh, look at that. I'm seeing the Devil and the Judgment in reverse. Spirit. Plagued with doubt, you are constantly replaying uncomfortable situations over and over in your head. Release yourselves from your insecurities and figure out what is really bothering you. Your schedule is packed to the brim, which leaves no time to reflect on the past to make beneficial changes towards your future. Allow yourself the space to ask your inner voice if what you are doing is feeding your soul. You may also be surrounded by a lot of strong opinions, and other people's judgments might be weighing on you. People will always have their own opinions, but don't be swayed by the crowd. Check in, take a moment to be still with your thoughts and listen to what you really think amid the noise. The clarity of your inner voice will cut through all the noise, and when you give yourself some time, I mean, this could be that person, you know. I feel like, or it just could be your energy. I'm seeing this Two of Pentacles, you know, with what goes around comes around here. I feel like this person has to heal, very unhealed, and it's like I don't think don't take it personal. You know, they might be giving you an hard time, your daughter an hard time, or this could be your kid giving someone else an hard time. I mean, justice is here, is destined here. So whatever this person did in the past, you know, I feel like you could have avoided a tower. Yeah, we've got this King of Cups energy. And it's came out in with the Wheel of Fortune again. You know, this gives me a fatherly energy. And the sun's here. So, yeah, I feel like things will change. Things will get better. They're not always going to stay like this. It kind of gives me some kind of hope. But this relationship is over. Whoever this relationship is over, yeah, this is the Queen of Swords is like, this could be you intervening, you know, because I would intervene as well if it was my daughter going through it. The intervention, clearly. Yeah, it's like, nah, you're not doing this anymore. You're not going to put my daughter through any more of this. You know, and I feel like even in that dream, you know, this kid was still persistent. You know, you might even have to get a restraining order. And that's not bad. You know, this could be even the justice. This could be, it's like you're doing the right thing. Yeah, the King of Wands came out. I feel like this is his energy. Very fiery energy. I've got all this Princess of Pentacles here. This gives me, you know, earth energy. This could be, you know, this could be your daughter or, you know, your son's girlfriend. I feel like a very grounded energy. You know, maybe she's giving to him because this looks like she's giving. But I feel like she needs to give to herself here. And we've got the Hierophant because of, you know, if that card was there, he's looking that way. I mean, he might be looking at his dad. You know, this could be a fatherly energy. He could even live with his dad or his granddad. I don't know. Take that as it resonates. But I feel like this Princess of Pentacles is the daughter. You know, taking this leap of faith and going in a different direction here. It's like her back is turned to this King of Wands here. Like leaving him. You know, it could even be older than her. I don't know. You know, but I feel like, yeah, this is going in a new direction. This is moving away out of this. I feel like they don't get on. Oh, I've seen a Three of Cups. There could have even been a throuple here. Could have even cheated on her. And I feel like maybe she might have found out. That's why she's, you know, leaving. Yeah, something's being highlighted here. There's some light being shone on a situation here. Yeah, look, forked road, a direction change, options, free will choice, opportunities, alternatives, multiple choice, the moment of truth, crisis, possibilities, turning point, and changing circumstances. So this could be a change in circumstances. She might have to leave, yeah, because look, there's convictions here. Decisions made. This could be the justice. You know, he could have even done something really bad because it was absolutely chaotic in my dream. That kid. He actually, you know, I'm sure there was some kind of like resolution at the end because he would not go away. He was persistent. So, you know, you might have had to get the law. Yeah, I feel like this person's like burying their head in the sand, avoiding, refusing to face reality, feeling threatened. Yeah, they probably feel like that you're attacking them, but it's the other way around. You're just standing up for yourself or your daughter. Yeah, there's a baby involved. I told you they had a baby. I knew it because the baby in my dream, and then in the same dream, there was another baby because this girl, this man, there was a man who was like a Chinese guy somewhere. But I'm saying that it could have been any kind of Asian, you know. But in that side, you know, it could have been, I don't know. Japanese, could have been anything like that, but that kind of, orientation. And he had a baby, and he had it on his shoulders, and this girl went up to him to make sure the baby was safe, because she didn't feel like he was holding the baby properly. That's strange. That might have some relevance. But yeah, I really feel, look, it's a union of opposites. I feel that these are opposites, because we've got a Princess of Pentacles, a King of Wands, I feel like they're not the same. Yeah, and I just seem persistent. So I feel like this person was really persistent, and this girl needs to turn away and take this leap of faith into a new beginning. We've got Summer, the mother. Yeah, this is now, the mother. It says within 3 to 6 months here. And we've also, it says coin toss choices, either or. Be fair, considering the pros and cons. Fate, equal 2 sides to every story. 50-50 chance, can't decide, take a chance. But I feel, I feel like assessment, evaluating options. I feel like, this kid is not going to learn. This kid in my dream didn't learn then, but I feel like they will when they're older. I think they will get into, they might have to deal with someone else. Father figure, but I'm getting father figure here. But I feel like he's looking towards his father figure, I mean, it could be you. Art and home, happy home, security, love, kindness, family, belonging, bliss, contentment, comfort, establish, fulfill, legacy, boundaries, affection, peace, desire, longevity. Yeah, and we've got contracts, rings, it's partnership. It could have been engaged, soulmate, but sometimes it's a soulmate, don't mean to say they're good for you, because there's tension here, stressed, set in motion, change, pulled in opposite directions, sudden, anxiety, pressure. I feel like this could have been a happy home at one point. We could have been engaged, but then it became tense. Things changed. Yeah, and that's when you have to reevaluate, evaluate the options and see things from a different perspective. Hassles, yeah, problems, big mess, interconnected, complicated, patience needed, future gains, many working components, work it out, this is out of control. This person was out of control in my dream. It was literally out of control. Very difficult to deal with. Yeah, choices either or. Be fair, considering 2 sides to every story, unpredictable. I feel like this person is unpredictable, like could just turn up at any time and this is a breakup. Yep, a change of state, you have to remove. I feel like, yeah, this is over. This is like the death card again. It's like, yeah, something is definitely over. It doesn't necessarily mean a death. It can. Do you know what I mean? But I'm feeling breakup, collapse, remove, change of state. It's over. It's done. This relationship has to end because this kid is only going to cause more stress. They need to heal first. I feel like this person's in an avoidance mindset, refusing to face reality. They feel threatened. I feel like they run from the problems instead of facing them. They hide behind the problems, probably using substances and that. We're seeing the devil card. I think they refuse to face in problems. Something could have happened to them in the past. Clearly did. But I feel like avoiding a tower is getting, we've got a strategy of planning ahead. Yeah, I feel like you have to be there's consequences of actions here. So I feel like, you know, you have to be strategic, strategic in your courses of action. Yeah, I feel like that. Thinking ahead, tactics, be clever. You know, you've got to be, because with this kid, you have to be clever how to deal with him, because he was so persistent and so, like, I don't know. Yeah, we've got this. I feel like this person, this is self-reliance, extending oneself, autonomy, mentoring others, poetry, emotion, exploration, providing, connect with nature, accomplishment, reflection, self-improvement, capable. So I feel like this person is capable of this. Or maybe this is, you know, whoever's the mother to the child. I feel like they're capable of looking after themselves, providing for themselves. You know, if you're getting squished, it's because you sat right behind me. Going within, observation, 0 point self-examination, exploring the unconscious mind in the void, desire to know, self-reflection, disconnecting, deep thoughts and subliminal. Yeah. I mean, this. I feel like this could be him, that he has to go within, you know, it's self-examination. And it's like, this is not right now, you know, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or obstacles. Yeah, I feel like that's what it could be, that kind of energy with this person. You feel like you might be getting somewhere, you know, and then it's like, no, it just happens all over again. You know, you could actually give this person so many chances, you know, and they just do the same thing again. And I feel like this is needing to avoid this tower, avoiding a tower here. We've got power destruction, trouble, electric display, a warning, out of control. That's what it was, out of control. But this is triumph over evil, fierce, booming conflict, an opportunity to overcome. But sometimes when somebody's in that such a low vibration, and you know, it's funny how, you know, that they always seem to attack women and kids. I mean, I'm not saying men don't get attacked as well, but do you know what I mean? It's like they're vulnerable, especially when you just had a baby as well, which is so sad because the leading cause of death, you know, especially in America, is it's you know, somebody's spouse and it's the woman when she's pregnant. She's more vulnerable to death when she's pregnant. You know, they get jealous. It's like all the attention's not on them. But we've got this is here the fairy tale ending here. It says believe the impossible, daydreams, romantic ending, universal archetypes, hopeful magic, unicorns and rainbows, aspire happily ever after, fanciful in the stories we tell. So I feel like this has to be destroyed, and I feel like will have an happy ending. There's an happy ending coming here. And it might not seem like it going through it, you know, when you put your foot down, you know. And I'm feeling that this is something happening in the summer. I mean, what it says, the waxing quarter within 3 to 6 months. Well, we've already passed the waxing quarter. You know, it's waxing gibbous now. 3 days we're in a full moon. I just had to move my Mimi because honestly, I was like squishing her and getting backache myself. We've got a calm here, inner peace, simplicity, meditation. You know, I think that's what somebody's seeking. You just want peace, and this person's hard work. Yeah, I feel like they're awkward because that says awkward. This person's awkward. A bloody living nightmare. Refusing to give up. Yeah, look, sweetheart, here. I feel like it was. I feel like there was a relationship. They probably did love each other at one point, and I feel like since this baby's came along, this person's changed. Probably just feels left out a bit, you know, because they're unhealed themselves. They just need healing. If they were healed, they would be a good person. That's what I feel. I feel like once this person has healed, they're going to be good. They are going to be a good person. There will be a fairy tale ending to this. But sometimes you've got to be, what is it, cruel to be kind. You've got to have tough love. Yeah, look, they're separate. You know, they could be talking to different people online, other people. And this person, I feel like, bullied. It was a bully. Embarrassment, gossip, unwillingness. It could have been bullied. You know, that's what's wrong with him. Could have been bullied. Because in the dream, he was quite small. So he might have been bullied for that reason. You know, like short. Because kids are, honestly, they'll bully anyone for anything. You know, someone said something about my grandson's eyebrows, and this little boy is very nasty. And he's obviously learnt it from somewhere. All he does is spew nastiness, really horrible things. Like, he shouldn't be around my grandson. I told my daughter, I said no, because I even had a dream about it as well. And it's just nasty. He just spews nastiness all the time. He's vile. And he's only a young child. He's only about 8 or something. But I think that's because he doesn't have his mum. I don't know where she is. He lives with his dad. But it's so awful. And he's a bully. He bullies everybody around him. Now, I don't know if he gets bullied at home. I don't know. I'm not insinuating. But, you know, and this person could have been bullied. They'll bully if you're too tall, too short, too fat, too thin. You've got your hair's too long, your hair's too short, your hair is bald, or you've got ginger hair. Whatever it is, the kids are gonna pick up on that, pick up on the bullying. There's memories here, remembrance, commemoration, reunion. You know, could be looking at memories, thinking of how it used to be. You know, I feel like it was. I feel like these kids had a good relationship at one point, and they could have been known each other since their childhood, and it's just gone haywire. It's just gone chaotic. Vow, wish, hope, and worship. Maybe they made this. This kind of gives me as childhood. They might have done a childhood wish. You know, they might have played together as kids, and then they vowed probably to be together forever. I just seen dictatorship. Maybe this kid ended up trying to bully this girl. But take that as it resonates. You know, like tell them. Yeah, I feel like this person, they just don't give up. I feel like they just persevere. I feel like they just constantly, they do not give up yet in this conflict. There's just conflict. There's constantly constant arguments. Yeah, now it's got to stop. Spirit said, it's time to stop. Stop, bully. This person has to be stopped. Yeah, they have to be stopped. They could have even stolen something. I don't know why, but in my dream there was some gold, and it was like a few little pieces. So I don't know if this kid has stolen like a few pieces of gold, because it was in like a like a little jiffy bag, kind of, not a jiffy, like a little plastic bag, sealer bag, and it had like a few pieces of gold in, and it was in the pocket. Yeah, I feel like this person is very stubborn, very stubborn. But somebody will know if this is their story about how it's resonating and what I'm picking up, and binding, obstruction, contract, commitment here. Yeah, I feel like this person is, suffering loss, bereavement, sorrow, damage. They could have been suffering a bereavement. That could have been what's wrong with them, But I feel like there's tough love needed here, really. This binding, obstruction, this contract, I feel like it could be a restraining order. I really do. Yeah, I'm telling you, justice, it is a restraining order, and this has made him furious. There could be some evidence against what this person has done, you know. But yeah, I feel like this person's furious because you have to do this. Maybe you have to do it because the way that he was acting in that dream, it just would not give up. It was just a constant, really hard work. Got the Ace of Swords here, truth and clarity. But it said, this is the truth. You're right. Yeah, I feel like this. We've got independence here. This person has to be able to do it on their own. Yeah, the Temperance angel, balance, peace, patience, moderation, tranquility, harmonious relationship, soulmate, serenity. You know, could have been soulmates, but I don't feel like this was someone that's good. Yeah, we've got the Empress and Mother energy, pregnancy, fertility, motherhood. I feel like, yeah, this is about a mother and a child with their, but I feel like it's someone's child. You know, you could be the mother or father of the son or daughter. Either way, switch it as it resonates. But you will know if this is your reading. Holy Spirit, Heavenly Angels, can you tell us anything else regarding this situation? Thank you. We love you. We've got a King of Pentacles. This is a mature, grounded male, successful businessman, bettering yourself, not being a risk taker, thriving, high status, stability, security, enterprising, and provided this could be your energy, you could have been in this energy, male or female. You could have gave this person security. You know, you could have gave them an home. We've got a new job and employment here, building a business. You could have even gave them a job, you know. You could have done. Oh, that's what they need to do. But I'm feeling that, you know, good job this girl, or you know, has got, or boy has got somebody who is like in that King of Pentacles energy. And it could be male or female. Yeah, strength. I feel like a very strong energy, having to deal with this, this anxiety and terror. Look, a breaking point, and they're able to cope. So I feel like you're strong, but I feel like you've got to the point where, you know, I'm just not going to take any more of this. Yeah, the intuition here, using your intuition. Things yet to be revealed as well with spirit guides, and I feel like this person being left out in the cold. You know, it's temporary. It's not forever. You might have to get this person out. You know, I feel like this person could even live in your house. And if it is so, don't feel bad. It could be anxiety over this, you know, like, oh, but you're going to be doing the right thing. I mean, I can't tell you what to do, but this person is not in a good place. They do not need to be around a child. Not at all. They need to be healed. Yeah, it's over. It's over. Let go. Sudden or unexpected ending, upheaval, endings, and release. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of anxiety there over this. You know, you're letting go, but I feel like you need to let it go. Yeah, this tower. It's like, if you don't, there will be chaos. And this is, you know, giving me this father figure, stability, dependability. This person could have been depending on you. And a father figure don't mean to say you got to be a male. You could, you know what I mean? You could be a single parent even. And your daughter or son has got this baby. Yeah, this King of Wands, I feel like the way that he is, I feel like I'm not getting like I'm just getting a very fiery energy. Yeah, heartbreak, look, betrayal, removal, absence. This person, it's, you know, they're in pain. I feel like they're in pain, and they're reflecting, putting that pain on. They're reflecting it out. They're feeling left out because of this baby. You know, why would you be jealous of a baby? Because they're unhealed. Yeah, look. Deceit, lies, trickery, cheating, theft, underhanded, dangerous, risky behaviour, enemy masquerading as a friend, spying, lack of conscience and strategy and resourceful. I feel like this person, yeah, is full of lies, trickery, cheating, could have stolen some gold. You know, I've seen a few pieces of gold. in a little bag. I feel like dangerous, risky behaviour. You know, they could have even cheated. Yeah, there's a feeling trapped and restricted here. This could be them in that victim energy. Yeah, in pain. They're in pain. Or this could be, how they've left the other partner. Powerless, hopeless, helpless. Or this could be how they feel. They feel it. They feel like this. They're in pain. I feel like they've got pain inside that's got nothing to do with the situation right now. I feel like it's something that happened in the past. Yeah, we've got Empress energy, motherly energy, pregnancy as well. I feel like this could have kicked off the devil again. This could have kicked off when she was pregnant, and that's what I'm feeling. But I feel there's going to be a good ending to this. Yeah, we've got a mature, compassionate male. I feel this is how it's going to end. I feel like he's going to change. I feel like this will be him in the end. But you can't help him. He's got to help himself. You need to walk away from this situation. Move on. You might even need, this is institutions here. You might need to go in an institution. There might need to be like an intervention, and you might need to go somewhere. It could be rehab or anything. Yeah, look, High Priestess is here. It's higher knowing that things will be balanced out. Things will be balanced out here. There will be justice will come. Yeah, but this is the first. Will be a tower. But yeah, you'll know if this is your reading or if it resonates in any way. But I'm going to leave this one there. I think I'm going to do my Egyptian reading tomorrow. So if anybody is interested in that, then you can come along and see if there's any messages there, if it resonates. But yeah, this will resolve. But you need to put your foot down. Tough love, it's called. You have to stop it. And even though this person's furious that you might have to get this restraining order against them, you need to do it because the baby's the most important thing here right now, and that person needs healing. But yeah, I love you all. Take care, God bless, and I will see you soon.